Then there are comments made by Buhari's daughter at the event. I think this one is Alima.
Your Excellencies, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Commander-in-Chief, GCFR, Your Excellency, the wife of the President, Senator Olurimi Tinubu, Your Excellency, the President of the Gambia, Republic of Gambia, Adama Barrow, Your Excellency, the wife of the Vice President, Hajiya Nana Shatima, Your Excellency, our dear mother, Dr. Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, His Eminence, the Sultan Sokoto, Your Majesty, Olu of Wari and his wife, representatives of the Oba of Benin, distinguished leaders of our nation, elders, friends of our family, our dear family members, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of our mother, Her Excellency, Dr. Mrs. Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, my siblings and the entire Buhari family, I thank you. Your presence today is a kindness we will not forget. You have honored our father and husband not only with your words, but also with your time, prayers, and embraces. Mr. President, our dear Daddy, thank you for being here and for the warmth of your tribute. You and our father shared a long journey of cooperation and service. Your words today carried that history with dignity and challenged all of us to turn memory into action for the good of Nigeria. We are forever grateful to you. To the First Lady, Her Excellency, Senator Olurimi Tinubu, CON, thank you for standing by a family with compassion and grace with your women folk, the wife of the Vice President, wife of the Senate President, wife of the Speaker of the House of Representatives, wives of the governors, female ministers, wives of the service chiefs, wives of the ministers, wives of the senators, wives of the members of the House of Representatives, and the Olurimi Tinubu Support Group. You all reminded us that we are not alone. Your kindness gave us strength when we needed it the most. To our leaders across parties, governors, ministers, legislators, members of the judiciary, service chiefs, past and present, diplomats, traditional and religious leaders, thank you for standing with our family. You reminded us that beyond contest, there is country, and beyond offices, there is duty. This book captures more than just a record. It captures a rhythm, the rhythm of a life lived with restraint, steadiness, and a stubborn belief that public office is a trust. It is not a perfect story. No human story is. And it calls the next generation to build systems strong enough to carry good intentions all the way to good outcomes. To every young Nigerian listening, learn from his example: integrity, moderation, patience, and strive to go further. Build the institutions that make it easier to do what is right and harder to do what is wrong. If that becomes the legacy of the season, then our family's sorrow will be eased by a nation's progress. To the speakers and our gracious MC, thank you for bringing voice and structure to this event. To the protocol teams, security personnel, medical staff, ushers, media crew, and all unseen helpers who made this gathering possible, may you feel recognized and appreciated today. To the author, Mr. Charles Omoli, you have given our nation an honest book. You gathered facts, guarded testimonies, and resisted the temptation to make the story a story smaller than the man or larger than the truth. We are grateful for your scholarship and your care. Permit me a personal word. To many, he was the commander-in-chief. To us, he was simply Baba. We knew the quiet man whose prayer beads clicked softly before dawn, whose smile was modest but sincere, and whose first question at home was never about power but about people. Are they well? Are they safe? Are we doing enough? Those simple questions guided his public life. We also sincerely wish to thank Mr. President for his dedication to completing the National Armed Forces PTSD Center project in Abuja, which President Buhari began. This is a vital facility initiated by the Defense and Police Officers' Wives Association, DEPOA. It aims to offer comprehensive assessment, treatment, support, and counseling to our military personnel. Thank you, Mr. President, for your backing in bringing this project to completion. To those who traveled long distances, who left busy schedules, who sent messages and who prayed to us in mosques and churches, thank you. We have read your notes. We have felt your prayers. In our grief, your kindness has been a refuge. We conclude with a prayer. May Almighty Allah have mercy on the soul of our father, late former President Muhammadu Buhari. May Allah forgive his shortcomings and may Jannatul Firdaus, may Allah grant him Jannatul Firdaus. May he comfort our mother and our family. May he bless the President, guide our leaders, heal our land, and keep Nigeria in unity and peace. From our hearts to yours, thank you for today, for the honor you have shown, and for the hope you carry with you as you leave this hall. May God bless you, and may God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
So she made very interesting statements, during in the course of the event. So some of the statements she made are quotes here. So it says, to the author, Mr. Charles Omole, you have given our nation an honest book. You gathered facts, guided testimonies, and resisted the temptation to make the story smaller than the man or larger than the truth. So it says let me read that again. To the author, Mr. Charles Omole, you have given our nation an honest book. You gathered facts, guided testimonies, and resisted the temptation to make the story smaller than the man or larger than the truth. Then she also said, to our leaders across parties, governors, ministers, legislators, members of the judiciary, service chiefs, past and present, diplomats, traditional and religious leaders, thank you for standing with our family. You reminded us that beyond contests, there is country, and beyond offices, there is duty. Then one other quote from Alima Buhari. This book captures more than just a record. It captures a rhythm of a life lived with restraint, steadiness, and a stubborn belief that public office is a trust. It is not a perfect story, no human story is. And he calls the next generation to build systems strong enough to carry good intentions all the way to good outcomes. So, and as I've mentioned, this is not the only book that was released by recently. There is a book by Lai Mohammed, former information minister. So I will read some statements on that next. So, like I've mentioned, there's another book written by Alhaji Lai Mohammed, former information minister. The book is Headlines to Soundbites, Media Moments That Define an Administration. It was launched on Wednesday, December 17th. So, Arise News gave this article. I think they disclosed what was said by Lai Mohammed, likely on the day of the launch of the book. So this is from Arise News, December 18th. So Lai Mohammed reveals near resignation, says book not meant to define Buhari's administration. Former Information Minister Lai Mohammed shares insight into tough decisions, dedicates book to Buhari, emphasizing truth over defending his legacy. Former Minister of Information and Culture Alhaji Lai Mohammed has disclosed that he once considered resigning from the Muhammadu Buhari administration. He disclosed this on Wednesday in his address in Abuja at the unveiling of his books. Headlines and soundbites, media movements that define an administration. The former minister offered a snippet into the book, saying readers would gain insight into some of the toughest decisions he took as minister, including a moment when he almost resigned. The book was launched on December 17th, which incidentally was the birthday of former President, the late Muhammadu Buhari. Lai Mohammed said he decided to launch the book on the occasion of Buhari's posthumous birthday, noting that he decided to shift the date of the launch of the book from December 6th, which was his own birthday, to December 17th, Buhari's birthday. According to him, he took the decision when he resumed writing the book after recovering from the shock of Buhari's death on July 13, 2025. I began writing the book in June 2025 and never imagined, even for a moment, that President Buhari would not be with us today. But here we are. Okay, it goes on. Following the change in the launch date, I also decided to dedicate an entire chapter, the very first chapter, to paying him a well-deserved tribute. When you read the book, you will understand why. Let me also note that this month marks 13 years since General Muhammadu Buhari wrote the foreword to my first book, Witness to History. Though I was not close to him at the time, I approached him to write the foreword. Not only did he agree, he was also the first dignitary to arrive at the venue of the book launch in Lagos, Mohammed said. He stated that the book was his personal effort as the longest-serving Minister of Information and Culture in Nigeria's history to document his work across all sectors under the ministry's broad mandate: information, culture, tourism, and national orientation. He stated that the book was about correcting misconceptions, providing context, and sharing first-hand accounts that history could not forget. According to him, the book offered a glimpse into how the Buhari administration showcased projects and provided communication materials for the 2023 electionary campaigns to counter the opposition's claim that the APC had nothing to campaign with. I have been asked, did you write this book to defend the legacy of President Muhammadu Buhari? My answer is simple. As the saying goes, the truth needs no defense. In the last months of the administration, we documented the achievements of the Buhari administration through our groundbreaking scorecard series. We also created a legacy portal, PMB scorecard.gov.ng, accessible from anywhere in the world, showcasing these achievements. President Buhari did his best under the banner of our party, the APC, and left the rest to posterity, which I am confident will be kind to him. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who inherited that mandate, is also doing his best under the same APC banner, and we must continue to give him our unfettered support. If there is one key takeaway I hope readers will gain from this book, it is this: the way an administration communicates can define its legacy as much as its policies it implements, he expatiated. Then there was a statement made by the keynote speaker, and they said that the occasion was graced by the family of the president, led by former First Lady Aisha Buhari, former Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Mr. Boss Mustafa, the Governor of Oyo State, Mr. Sheyi Makinde, among others. The book was reviewed by the chairman of this day editorial board, Mr. Olusegun Adeniyi. So this was written by Olawale Ajimo talk am. So another daughter of President Buhari was present, and she gave a statement. She gave comments at the event. This one is Ajiza Buhari. The one that was booked by Charles Omole, it was Halima Buhari. I stand to be corrected, but this is what the media reports. So Ajiza Buhari at this book launch written by Alhaji Lai Mohammed, she says, as his daughter, I saw a side of him that never appeared on television and was rarely captured in print. I saw a man who would sit quietly, listening more than he spoke. The man who worried about the security of ordinary people he would never get to meet. The man who agonized over the gap between what was promised and what was possible. For the public, it was President Buhari. For us at home, it was simply Baba, Daddy. Leadership, especially in a country as complex as Nigeria, is never as straightforward as it looks from the outside. It involves trade-offs, compromises, and very often imperfect choices. My father was not unaware of the criticism leveled against him. He knew that many Nigerians felt that more would have been done or done differently. He heard the voices of those who were disappointed, just as he heard the gratitude of those who felt their lives had improved. So, the daughters of Buhari, I must say, I must commend them. They really stood tall, and I watched it on YouTube. The videos of the two book launch, you can watch it on YouTube. And I must say, I really enjoyed listening to the daughters of President Buhari. You know, the man, the president, really nurtured and groomed, along with the wife Aisha Buhari, nurtured and groomed those children, and they spoke well, and quite effective in communicating. So Dr. Charles Omole gave an interview with Channels, Charles Okimboleye. I mentioned some of the things he said. Then he mentioned that there are some things he did not add to the book. That some things were too hot or too sensitive, and so he did not add them. Then there are other things he could not add because he could not get corroboration. That he did not rely on a single source. If he heard something from one person, he wants to corroborate it by discussing with other people. That if there is no other person who can corroborate the story, he does not add it. So Chenwo Okibaloye asked him, what are examples of those things that he did not add? And he said that we know that Buhari likes reading newspapers.
Perhaps what you ran away from easily here, what maybe you didn't capture or maybe I have not read, was how Buhari was comfortably able to allow people to run riots in their offices without. I mean, I've had minister on this program who said, in my years of serving Buhari, he never asked me a question about my role as a minister. That we didn't see much of here.
Well, two things. Number one, this book is not about policy, Buhari policies. It's about the man, Buhari. So, reference to policies is as it relates to his thinking about what he was thinking around that policy rather than the policy itself. Now, the thing is this: Buhari by nature he delegates. Once he delegates, he allows you to do the work. But the problem, what people don't understand, is that a lot of what he believed was going on was curated by people around him. For example, there are things I actually did not include in the book that I felt were probably too hot to put in the book.
Like what? The subject matter. Without having to say the details if they are difficult to say.
For example, one of the things about Buhari is that he loved reading newspapers. Everybody knows that, right from, the early days. He was a newspaper man. And there were reports that the cabal went to the extent of curating his own newspaper for
A
him.
version of the newspaper.
Yes, that would plant stories they want him to read.
And you know, and perhaps, I'm not, there are those who even say that this happened to not only President Buhari, that in fact, it may be happening to the present president, that he may not be seeing the actual news, and he may not be reading the actual newspaper, and that leaders in that form and shape and height get to the point of being fed with whatever those who are around him and managing them wanted.
That is true. The challenge, of course, with someone like Buhari is there's one overarching cabal. But in the current government, there are multiple cabals, and that, I think, has its plus and minus in the sense.
So there's a possibility that a president may not know what is happening in the country for 3 days.
Of course.
Because everything is teleguided.
Even the channels he watches. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Everything is
teleguided, is being managed in a way that those who are around him. And that's why the name of Tunde Sabiu, for example, came up as his level of education, his experience, those who they say controlled what went on, who saw the president, what kind of, in fact, the daughter of the president wrote, who somewhat is, what's it called?
Auditor.
Yeah, and went and discovered that some of the signatures of the president in documents were forged.
That's correct.
And that's how powerful some of the people around the president. So it's not the fault of some of these presidents sometimes. It could be the fault of those who are managing them, is it?
That is true. I mean, the thing is, president will always have people around him, but you need to put systems in place to avoid state capital.
One other thing he said was that Buhari lost the father at the age of 3. He was just 3 years old when when Buhari's father died. So that's many of these people that he grew close to and who now became the cabal or leaders of the cabal. The people that he grew up with, considering that his father was not there. So like someone like Mama Adara said that a few years older than Buhari, because he grew up with these people, he had this sense of loyalty to them. And that is why, when he got into power, he allowed them in, So, and he mentioned that the book is not about policy. It's not to discuss what influenced his policy choices. It's just to look at his life story from when he was born and to give the perspective of the family, what the wife, what the children, what the immediate family, what the family members thought of the man Buhari. Then another thing he said that Buhari likes seeing evidence. So if people come to him and to complain and say that this person appointed is corrupt, is doing this, he would ask where is the evidence. And if there is no evidence, it's not likely to leave them.